Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while since I've done a video. Just giving an update on what's with the car. As you can see, there's a supercharger missing, and it's because it's on the shelf over there. I sent it away to Kong to get the export done. And then while it was away, I started thinking about the bottom end and the fact that it's probably not going to last as long as I'd hope. So I decided to get some upgrades. So I have some diamond pistons and rods. These are Molnar rods. They're rated for 1500 horse. These are diamond pistons. These are the LSA pistons from Dedicated Motorsports, and we'll have a look at those. But a quick update of where we're at. Supercharger was off. Decided should probably do something with the bottom end. So today I got her up on the stands, pulled the exhaust, the drive shaft, headers, collectors, crossover pipes, and pulled the whole transmission out. So the transmission is actually on the ground. It's underneath the car on the stand, and I'll show you that. As you can see, the transmission's out, just sitting on the jacks, and kind of wait till I need to put her in. So it's gonna stay there while I pull this out. So next plan of attack is gonna be pull the front accessories off. Obviously, drain the rad, pull the fans, get those out of the way. Gonna try to keep the AC charged up and just keep the AC compressor moved over to the side. But because I did pull the supercharger off already, a lot of the work's kind of already done. So it shouldn't take too long to get this block out now that the transmission's disconnected as well. So yeah, that's going to be the next plan of attack. But let's have a look at the new pistons and rods I got that are going to be going in it. So here's what I chose for pistons and rods. These are a forged piston from Diamond. I got these from Dedicated Motorsports in the States, and they are built to clear the squirters on the LSA engine, because this is still going to be a stock stroke motor. As you can see here, these are the rods in the stock length, and these are Molnar Technologies rods. They were recommended to me by Dedicated Motorsports. They're an HB rod, and they said they're rated for 1500 horsepower, so should be more than enough. They come with ARP 2000 fasteners. I took them all apart because I'm just kind of weighing everything. As you can see, started weighing them, just checking everything, seeing if I got any heavy ones or light ones. The whole assembly is going to be balanced anyhow, but just want to see what kind of weight I'm looking at. Kit also came with some diamond rings, as well as I decided to go with some upgraded wrist pins, and these are Trend Performance. So these are supposed to be tool steel wrist pins, so they're pretty nice looking. As you can see, they're just beauty, gorgeous. So that's what's going to be going in the motor, and I am staying with a stock stroke, but these pistons will take me from the stock 9 to 1 compression to 10.5. So it's going to definitely be a bump in compression, get a little more jam, still stay in stock stroke. I also got some King bearings ordered. I have those, so that'll be going in the rotating assembly. I'm going to keep the stock crank Shouldn't have any problems running the stock crank at the power level I'm going to be at. And I also ordered a new high volume, high pressure pump by Melling. So that'll be going in the motor as well. So I figured I'd just show these beautiful pistons before they get put away and never see them again until it's time to assemble. So yeah, those are the fun bits. Another upgrade I did off camera, I had some issues with my phone, only got pictures, didn't get any video. I went and got some B&R suspension cradle bushings. So the whole cradle is running on polyurethane now. Also, I went with some zero camber lower control arm offset bolts so they can be adjusted. And I also went with upgraded lower control arms and tow rods, which are kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can get a look. There they are. So there's the tow rods. BMR tow rods, pretty dirty. And there's the lower control arm, polyurethane bushings, and the cradle bushings. So that was quite a bit of work because I had to drop the whole subframe, rear end, right out of the car. But I was really worried about the wheel hop. I was getting at the drag strip. So I did put these in right before the end of the season, and it made a whole world of difference. It was a stiffer ride than stock. I did notice that for sure. But trying to eliminate wheel hop, you have to give a little to get a little. So those bushings and lower control arm and tow rods are in, as well as the offset camber bolts for lining to zero camber. And I'll post some pictures of the actual tearing them out, and getting the original bushings out were more than a chore. You have to heat them up and drill them out and smash them out with a hammer. So some guys have done it in the car. I decided to take the whole rear diff cradle right out and work on it out of the car, and it worked out pretty good. So now that the transmission's out, I'm gonna start working on getting the motor out. So like I said, could do the accessories, rad, drain the rad, get that out of the way, and a couple other little things, and hopefully yard this sucker out. Pretty easy. Hopefully I have enough room to do it with the hood on. I've heard from some guys they left the hood on. Other guys have taken the hood off. I try to do it with the hood on, and if not, the hood's gonna come off. But the whole front subframe has been dropped down about, I'd say about an inch, because on the ZL1s, when you pull the transmission on the 6-speed, you have to lower the front subframe about an inch, inch and a half. Not take the bolts right out, just loosen everything so that everything is a little lower to get at the bell housing bolts. And that's right from the GM manual. So headers are off already, took those off, plugs are out. A lot of stuff. I got a good head start on everything. I figured I'd just stop and let everybody know kind of where I'm at before I forget to film this. So I'm gonna start working on the front end of the motor and start ripping off all the accessories. The engine is out finally. So the next thing we're gonna do is pull the clutch apart, pull my flywheel off, and mount it on an engine stand. Wasn't too bad. I was able to leave the front clip and the hood completely on. Just had to get the right angle on the right lifting plate and shorten up the chain. And yeah, worked pretty good on the old big red cherry picker. So that'll be next. Pull the clutch off and mount it to the engine stand. So the engine is out and on the stand. Gotta have that ready for the machine shop. So I'm gonna start disassembling it tomorrow. Getting the rest of the accessory, water pump, harmonic balancer, all that stuff off tomorrow. Pull the heads, hopefully tear everything right down tomorrow if I have time and get it ready to ship out to the machine shop. So next thing I'm gonna do is start weight matching the piston and rod assembly. So there's a little bit of variance between the pistons and rods and my wrist pins. Not much, but up to a gram. I did pre-weigh some of these, and my heaviest wrist pin was 156.77 grams, and my lightest was 156.50. So that's 2.7 grams. So that's from one end to the other is, 2.7 grams is, or 0.27 gram, pardon me, 0.27 isn't crazy, but I'm gonna try to get a little closer than that. So I'm gonna weigh all the pistons and all the rods. Another thing I did is I checked the braking torque on these Molnar rods that I got from Dedicated Motorsports. They all came out at around 73 to 75 foot-pounds to brake them. So looking at Molnar's instructions, I have the 7/16 by 1.6 inch bolts, the ARP 2000 fasteners, and it says that torque plus angle should be 30 foot-pounds and 60 degrees. So your recommended stretch in your bolt should be 6 to about 6.5 thousandths of an inch. So what I did is I used the supplied lubricant from Molnar for their fasteners, for the ARP fasteners, torqued them up, measured the total length of the bolt before and after, and I was with the rod bolt stretch gauge, and I'm getting right around 6.5 thousandths of an inch stretch on all the fasteners. So that seems to be right on the money at 75 foot-pounds. I did it in steps. I went 30, 60, and then 75 foot-pounds as far as torque. So I'm just gonna kind of show you how this rod bolt stretch gauge works really quickly. So how the rod bolt stretch gauge works is with it just hand tight, not torqued up and assembled. What you want to do is take your dial indicator and zero it out, set it to 0, torque up your bolts as recommended. Molnar recommends 30 foot-pounds plus 60 degrees. If you're using different rods, go by their manufacturing torque spec sequence. I went and did that, and then afterwards you check your rod bolt, and I'm trying to shoot for between 6 and 6.5 thousandths for stretch. So once you set them in, and they have points on both sides, and then you can see on the ARP fastener, it's got a little recess there on both ends, and you can see the bottom of as well, where you can put your dial indicator. So, and you got to remember to press, make sure it's centered good. And as you can see, I'm right around, oh, there I go, around 6.5 thou. So I'm right on the money, right where I want to be for rod bolt stretch and proper torque on these fasteners. So that's the best way to measure your torque on your rod bolts. But this is just pre-assembly, just checking everything right now. Obviously, I'll check in again once the bearings are in and it's torqued. So yeah, so now next is going to be weight matching the pistons to the rods to my wrist pins and try to get them balanced as close as possible. So after much measuring and moving stuff around, I kind of got a pretty good balance of my weights. I got all my pistons, my pins, my rods, my rings, my spiral locks weighed out. And I moved the wrist pins around from heaviest to lightest. So I put the heaviest pin with the lightest rod, and then that whole assembly, I take the lightest piston and pin assembly and put it with the heaviest rod. So it worked out pretty good. So industry balance standard is 2 grams, within 2 grams. My heaviest assembly is 1,424.6 grams, and my lightest is 1,424.26 grams. So I only have a variance of about 0.34 grams by just balancing it out, weighing everything out and moving things around to making sure it's the most balanced I possibly could. So pretty darn happy with that. 0.3 of a gram, 0.34 of a gram is real good for balance. So pretty happy with the way the rods and the pistons and the pins turned out as far as balance. So I'm going to clean these all up, put the rods and the pins and the spiral locks all together so that they can't get mixed up now that they're assemblies, and put them away. Just finished balance matching all the pistons and rods and pins and rings. So that's all done. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start tearing down the motor, getting it and getting the block ready for the machine shop. So the block's all torn down, ready to go in the machine shop. I did put the ARP studs in on the mains so that when they're line honing it, the correct studs are in. So it's got the ARP stud kit in it for the mains now. Everything else is out, the plugs, everything's out. It's bare block, ready to go to the machine shop. The shop said it was going to be about 2 to 3 weeks before they can even start working on it. So it's going to be a little bit before I get it back, but it's okay. I got some other things I need to do to the car and have a look at that clutch, make sure it's good to go. May need to order a couple extra parts. Gonna send the block and the crank, and that's about it for the original parts that will be going back in the build, as long as the crank's good. But it looked pretty good. The bearings looked super good for the abuse I've put this car through in the last couple years. So yeah, just gonna put her in the truck, take it to the machine shop, and wait patiently for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then hopefully next video will be assembling the motor. So we'll thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.